Going on, everybody? Welcome to another live stream here on the channel. It is me, Chavez, back with another player prop live stream, except this one is a little different because, yes, it is Showtime. Carl Weathers, RIP. But this one's a little different because we're talking about NFL today. We're talking about the Super Bowl. We're talking player props here on the channel. And good morning to everybody. All 6 of you watching right now. Paris, what's going on? Donnell, what's up? Dante, Javier, what's going on, everybody? Appreciate y'all being here on a Saturday morning. Don't typically run live streams on the weekend, but got a lot of requests. Not a lot. Got a few requests for some time to chop up some Super Bowl picks. Last game of the year for another 6 months or so, and why not? We got the Patrick Mahomes free square, which I have not used, which I have plans on using in a few different ways. But we have that on the board. We still got some pretty decent lines to talk about. I guess a cool thing with the Super Bowl is that we can definitely build some correlation. We don't have a whole lot of options. So stacking Mahomes with receivers, or if you wanted to build out a slip with a bunch of pass catchers for the 49ers and Mahomes, something like that. But anyway, we're going to talk player props. We're going to do Q&A like we do with NBA, although I don't know how long the stream was going to go because, again, we're narrowed down to just one game, right? So there isn't a whole lot on the board, but we'll make it work. We will make it work. What's going on, Jay Marsh? Good morning. Yeah, we could we can throw some NBA in here, but honestly, I don't want to run 2 hours on this stream like I do on the weekdays. So I really want to keep this one tight. But after going over some NBA or NFL, yeah, we could throw a few NBA plays in there. If you guys have any questions, or if you want to vent about who fucked up your slips yesterday, like Jalen Johnson, completely sabotage my slips. The Jalen's work real hard. They work real well together in blowing up some slips, Green and Johnson. So yeah, we'll spend a few minutes on the NBA after we get through talking NFL. So let's just get right into it. We don't have anything to recap. No NFL plays to talk about prior to this. So we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to pull up the Prize Picks board, and that should be on the screen for you all to see. And then I'm going to also pull up Props.cash. If y'all have any interest in Props.cash, 25% off your first month. My promo code's Thanks25. All the information's in the description of the stream. So it should be interesting. I'm not sure how many Q&As we'll have. Or I'm not sure how many questions we'll have for player props for just one game. But we're here for it. All right. All right. Let's see here. What's going on, Divine? Jokic killed his slip. Did he? What did you have? Man, he didn't have that great of a game. So I guess pretty much anything you played for him wasn't working. Then it just got out of hand in the fourth quarter. Mike Malone threw in the towel. So kind of ended his night pretty quickly. Sengun, oh my God, yeah. Sengun sold hard. Damien, what's up, man? All right, so we got Prize Picks pulled up. Obviously, we're looking at Patrick Mahomes over on his 0.5 yards. So yeah, if y'all have any player props like right off the bat in terms of NFL player props, throw them in the chat and we'll take a look at them over on Props.cash. We can also look. Let me see if this is available over on Props.cash. Also, hold on. It's not. Their blog is not up for Super Bowl picks. It's all good. Usually, their blog is a nice way to start research if you need a starting point. Their blog is a good resource. Let's see here. My next option. All right. Real quick. Let's peruse let's peruse the Odd Shot for articles library. I want to see if there's a good starting spot for research or just anywhere we can kind of dig in, like player props wise. Like look at Super Bowl is in so many weird props like coin toss. There's a national anthems odds. I don't know like the length of it. I don't know like how you're betting on the national anthem. We got a parlay Super Bowl pick here. We have this best prize picks, NFL predictions, odd shopper stat picks. Let's check this. Let's just check this out real quick, and let's just see if there's anything that stands out, or if there's anything that you weren't aware of, or maybe you're already on these plays. So, and these are all specific to prize picks, so we don't have to like go anywhere for these. We're already on prize picks. So, looking at Travis Kelce's receiving yards, that seems to be a popular play over his 71. George Kittle over his receiving yards. That's second one. That's 50.5. Deebo Samuel less than 17.5 rushing yards is another one. And then MVS over his 19.5 receiving yards. So those are 4 receiving yard props that are available on Prize Picks. So yeah, let me know in the chat. Where do you guys want to start off? Let's see. What's up, 60? Vu, what's going on? Man, appreciate y'all being here. Good morning, everybody. Big Icy. Awesome. Glad y'all are here on a Saturday morning. Not my usual schedule. Let's see. What's up? Aliens in the house. What's up? Is Balls in the house? Paris. I said what's up, Paris. I said that. There he is. There's Balls. What's up, Balls? Oh man, what's going on, everybody? All right. They should have a demon Gatorade prop on Prize Pick. That'd be funny. Vu. All right. I see Noah Gray 2.5 targets. Yeah. So notice how deep the categories are for the Super Bowl, because it gets like this when in the NBA finals or NBA playoffs, you'll start to see all these other categories pop up because the board is pretty limited. So Prize Picks has to be able to like draw you in with more than just the player props or more than just the players. So you're gonna have all of these like alternate lines, alternate props. So targets for Noah Gray. There it is right there. Vu likes the over on that one. Paris, check out Pacheco's first half rushing yards. At 35.5. That's what we're seeing it there. Damian, Fred Warner, looking at his tackles and assists. Wait, why can't I find the NFL? There it is. Should be easier just to type his name in. Yeah, there's only 3 props for him. Looking at the over on this one. Yeah, that might be a good idea. We might do like half and half, right? 30 minutes NFL, 30 minutes NBA, something like that. I wasn't really focusing on NBA today. I honestly don't even have any plays like that I'm looking at. We're doing something a little different in the Discord. A few of us in the Discord are building out some ladders, trying to like sustain profit. If that sounds fun to y'all, check it out in the Discord. But honestly, didn't have a whole lot for the NBA, but we can spend a few minutes over there. Saturdays are really weird, so I typically play very light on the weekends just because really funny shit happens on the weekends. Like dudes get ruled out like last minute. Just you never know. A lot of players are resting on the weekends. We talked about this last week in the stream. A lot of players rest on weekends and they don't give you notice. So you put them in your slips and they get scratched. So like I tend to play pretty light on Saturdays, but yeah, we'll spend a few minutes on the NBA. Chris Cheeman over 0.25 sacks, says Jesus. Okay. What's this about Taylor Swift? Wait, what's this? CMC Green Demon? Oh, the Goblin. For what? His rushing yards? His rushing or receiving yards? Probably his rushing yards, right? I think especially if the 49ers grab a lead, I can definitely see him running the ball like 20 times. Upwards of 20 maybe. Who asked if I lived in America? Oh, I'm just reading these comments. Do you live in America? I do. If that question's for me, yeah, I live in Texas. 12 a.m. right now in WWA. 12 a.m. Damn. All right. Props.cash. Let's run through a few of these. So if you haven't used the Patrick Mahomes free square, hopefully something in this stream helps you identify another prop that you want to pair that with. In my history, my experience with free squares like this one, I find the best results when I divide the free square. So it's $25. You cannot play that in more than $25 worth of slips. So I would typically put 20 on a 2-pick power, and then I'll put the other 5 on a flex, or maybe 15 and 10, something like that. So it just kind of helps me diversify my slips. But if maybe in this stream you find something that helps you build out a nice 2-pick. Let's look at Noah Gray. Target. So targets is, look at all these lines, man. So targets is not an actual category that we can pull up on props.cash, but we can look at it. Okay. It's not something that's going to pop up like receiving yards will, but we can look at targets. So it's going to be a little wonky looking at like playoff targets. You're not going to have a huge sample size because they only play 2 playoff games. And you will see some regular season games in there. We can start with his snaps. I don't know why it's reading that he had 0 snaps against Baltimore. That's false. Snaps are not very high. So Noah Gray does not get a lot of playing time. We know that. He is not the first option in this offense. But Patrick Mahomes does like going to him. They have that trust there. Receiving yards have been down in the playoffs. Even when they're up, he's not really crushing it. 30, maybe 40 yards. Okay, so here we are at his target. So over his last 10 games, this is all this season, he's averaging 2.5 receiving targets per game, which is why his line's at 2.5. So Prize Picks is just giving you what his average is, basically. Now, if you want to be a little bit more specific and look at his last 5, they're up to 3.2. So over his last 5 games, 2 of them have been playoff games. He's seen more targets. So you have that going for you. It's the Super Bowl. There's only one game left. So I feel like, yes, do research, but like there's not a whole lot to go on. So if you find a couple data points, 1-2 data points that you like, I think that's good. Roll with that, whether it be in favor of the over or under. So we're not going to find too much on this, but yeah, look, over his last 5 games, he's averaging 3 targets a game, 3 and 5 in the playoffs, Super Bowl. I mean, it's not like the Chiefs aren't going to pass the ball at all. I mean, you do have your ladder. You have Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce at the top. And then who? MVS. You have Noah Gray. Maybe Pacheco. Maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But 2.5 reception targets for Noah Gray feels like a good spot. So yeah, I don't mind that one at all. Let's look at that Fred Warner. And then we don't get a lot of touchdown, or we don't get a lot of defensive props, you know. We typically don't focus on defensive props. But Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw are like your tackle monsters on the San Francisco's defense. Greenlaw's questionable. I mean, he's questionable with an ankle. I mean, you would have to amputate his leg in order for him to not play in this game. Like, I feel like whatever injury you have, as long as it's not life-threatening, like, you're playing in a Super Bowl. So I feel like this defense will be 100% over his last. All right, so these are his games. He's not really going over 8.5 too many times. 4 times out of these games, he's gone over. The odds are not in favor of the over as well, so they're in favor of the under. He's only projected for 6.45 tackles and assists. You can take that and round it up to 7. But so he needs 9. He needs 9 tackles and assists to go over this. Let's go over this line. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I mean, where what scenario is he in where he's just racking up tackles? Is it Kansas City goes to the run more and he's just like playing in the box a little bit more and he's just like getting tackles 5-6 yards off the line of scrimmage? Is he like covering the flats? And what situation would require him to be upwards of 10 tackles and assist? We could put a pin in this one and come back, but I feel like in my opinion, there's not a whole lot here to go with the over, especially when you factor in the odds. Chris Jones sacks. So pause. Chris Jones, 0.25. Okay, so his line is 0.5 on the books, and we are looking at it at 0.25, and that is actually a demon prop. So there's a payout boost attached to this. He's projected for 0.5 sacks. I mean, what is a 0.25? Like, how do you even get a 0.25 sack? Like, so basically, that 0.5 is like an assist, right? If he's not going to get credit for the full quarterback sack, then there's like a teammate involved in this one and they're meeting at the quarterback or some shit like that. So you're counting on that happening, which the odds feel like it will, the projections feel like it will. I think this is a good one. I wonder if he has some kind of bonus or incentive in his contract. If he gets a quarterback sack in the Super Bowl, he gets like an extra $500,000 or something like that. That's plenty of motivation. Yeah, I don't mind that one at all. 0.25 is so low for Chris Jones. I don't mind that. It's an interesting prop. It's a weird prop. 0.25. Like, how do you get 0.25 anything? Let's take a look at Pacheco's receiving yard or rushing yards, first half rushing yards for Isaiah Pacheco. So what am I missing here? All right. Rushing yards. All right. So looking at first half. Maybe it's the rain here that is causing complications where these graphs are not popping up. Over his last 5 games, he is averaging roughly 50 rushing yards in the first half. That's inclusive of playoff games. 46 in the first half over his last 10. Projected, so his projections are only going to be for full games. So 70 roughly, he's projected for roughly 70 rushing yards in the Super Bowl. If you divide that by 2, there's your 35, and his prop is at 35.5. So that's why it's basically sitting right there at that middle line. Prize Picks is not going to give you any wiggle room on this. They're going to make it pretty tight. But based off his last 10 and 5 games, again, also, I think you got to like create some sort of storyline here for the Super Bowl. Like, you got to figure out like, hey, I think the Chiefs are up in this game and they're holding on to the lead. They're not going to risk like anything. They're going to run the ball. But this is first half. So he would need to like start early, start strong. Yeah, I don't mind this one either. His first half is in play. I think it's in play. 35.5 doesn't seem like a lot. What would hurt him? What would keep him from getting this line? If CEH got more carries, if he got, worked into that first half script a little bit more, that will pull attempts away from Pacheco. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. I don't feel like that's what is in the script for the Chiefs. I don't feel like they're just going to all of a sudden stop running the ball with Pacheco. Yeah, this is fine. The 35.5 first half is good. McCaffrey, we got his goblin rushing yards up there at 69.5. So weird that props.cash is just not pulling up all the graphs. So at 69.5, I mean, he's obviously clearing that in all his games, except for this game against the I almost called them the Wizards, except for this game against the Commanders. He is projected for 88.01 rushing yards, so roughly 88 rushing yards, okay? So you're playing the Goblin at 70. That's almost 20 yards lower than his original line. I think that's a pretty safe play, to be honest with you. As are his receiving yards. I think his Goblin receiving yards are at 24.5. I think that's also a very safe play. But as we know, Goblins are not a fucking lock. So if you're playing Goblins and it's just like, easy money, we should be able to play Goblins as easy money. Yes, nice little bankroll builders, although they are lower payouts. They should offer that high floor, and you shouldn't even have to think twice about those. But apparently you do, because looking at how Sengun played yesterday, he screwed everybody on that Goblin, right? So again, these are risky. These are all risky. Even the safe ones you think are like locks, they're risky. So just always keep that in mind. So although the projections look really good for all his props and all his Goblin props, just know that all this shit is risky. All right. So, okay, if you're trying to build out like a 2-pick with that free square Mahomes, you cannot play anybody on the Chiefs. So, so that you would have to team him up with somebody on the 49ers, or you can play the Mahomes free square with any other player prop you want. It doesn't have to be NFL player prop, but if you're looking to create a 2-pick or something for the Super Bowl, you're going to have to pick a 49er on the other side. So like we take Noah Gray out, we take Pacheco out, and we take Chris Jones out. So you have Fred Warner and Christian McCaffrey. The payout on this is not that good. Like if you put $5, $6 on it, you're not getting much out of it because of the Goblin here. I would recommend you play this free square with a regular line so that your payouts are not nerfed. That would be my suggestion. Let's see. What's going on, Gilbert? Welcome in. Good morning. Cutler, what's up? You can get half a sack. Yeah, for sure. You can get half a sack, but his demon is at 0.25. So it's just, I would expect his demon to be like 0.5. I would expect like his, maybe his regular line to be 0.25 and his demon to be 0.5. It's just a weird line. Yeah. So he would definitely need half a sack to get that 0.25. So he would have to he and a teammate would have to, assist on that sack. Or I would even expect his demon to be one whole sack or 0.75 sack, but 0.25 is weird. All right. All right. So, Kyle, there's Kyle Juszczyk is in play. It took over on his 4.5 rushing receiving yards and 0.5 fantasy score. Oh, interesting. So Kyle Juszczyk. So fantasy score is off the table. Who is the guy on the Dolphins? Ian Gold, or he plays a similar position. He's like an H-back. His fantasy score was at 0.5 against the Chiefs in that playoff game, and he didn't do shit. Kyle Juszczyk's a different player. He's obviously more involved in the offense, and he's been in that offense for a long time. Shanahan likes to use him. And props like this, it would only really take one play. I mean, I don't know. Let's look at his receiving yards and see like rushing and receiving yards. Again, so he doesn't do something every game, but when he does it, it's like way over, Unfortunately, there's just not that big of a sample size because he's not that player. But if you look at his projections, he's projected for 20 receiving yards. You feel like that's a little high? I mean, he's a tight end basically, you know? So if we look at his average in terms of he's kind of like Noah Gray, but with more upside in that Niners offense. So targets are like a little hit or miss, but that's kind of what you're risking. You know, he's not that kind of player, and that's why his lines are so low. But look, when he catches a pass, I mean, 23 yard pass, 17-yard 9. I mean, those three right there get you over his lines for the Super Bowl. All his lines for the Super Bowl, basically. Yards after the catch are up. I mean, he's not like a downfield target, so his air yards are low, but really not going to put too much thought into that one, right? You're getting decent odds with his rushing and receiving yards. His receiving yards are like a flat. Sorry about that, guys. I just realized I wasn't on the props.cast. Sorry about that. So his receiving yards, minus 110. Ingold. Thank you, Kyle. Ingold. I said Ian Gold. That was fucking close, man. I combined the two names. I was almost there. All right. So what I was basically, when I was just talking to myself, what I was looking at were his targets per game, right? Not very heavy, kind of like Noah Gray. Receptions. Look at this. But when he's targeted, he's catching the ball. 3 targets, 2 receptions. 3 targets, 3 receptions. 2 targets, 1 reception. So you know if Brock Purdy's throwing the ball to Kyle Juszczyk, he's catching it. And he's catching it for more than 3 yards, right? So his receiving yards on Prize Picks are 3.5. His rushing and receiving yards are 4.5. I mean, if you're feeling froggy, you can put this in 2 slips and just take the over on both of those, knowing that if he catches a pass, it'll probably be for 5 yards or more, which gets him the over on both of those props. Yards after the catch, not very high. Air yards, not very high. He's not catching passes downfield. But yeah, not too much to think about in this one. It's like a very low line. You know, it's a low line for a reason because he's not a high volume player, but he just needs 1 pass, basically 1 catch. Kind of a fun prop to add in there. And then obviously, if you got a chance to play his fantasy score at 0.5, if he catches 1 pass, he goes over. He doesn't even have to get positive yards. He can catch the pass and get tackled for no gain, and that's over fantasy points. So those are kind of fun. They're riskier, but they're fun. So yeah, you could definitely do like I'm not saying you have to, you could definitely do the Mahomes free square with Juszczyk over receiving yards or Juszczyk over receiving and rushing yards. You could do something like that. What's going on, Jim? Welcome in on a Saturday morning, rainy Saturday morning for me here in Austin. What do you think about a 3 pick for Jock Market? You play on Jock Market, Gilbert? I play on Jock Market. Right now, the promo on Jock Market or the discount on Jock Market is Isaiah Pacheco discounted rushing yards from 67.5 to 64. That one looks like a good play, like a high floor play. For sure. I tell you what, I'm going to put a pin in the Jock Market one real quick, and we'll come back to that. Kyle asked, what are we thinking about anytime touchdown for Pacheco? Seems like a good option. Let's check it out. Yeah, let's look at some touchdown props. So unfortunately, they nerfed it. So if you're gonna play this, you're gonna have to play it at a Goblin, and that's gonna be a lower payout, which kind kind of sucks. If you want to feel, if you're feeling froggy, you're gonna jump. Might as well jump on that 1.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns. I mean, you're expecting him to have a really good game. I feel like when they get inside the red zone, I think he's number one option. It's just, I think it's a safer play for the Chiefs. Second would be like Kelsey, but I feel like he's built that trust to get the ball in the red zone, and he can also break one from 20 yards out, 30 yards out. He has that ability to break one. So you're kind of hoping that the Chiefs get into the red zone multiple times and that he gets the opportunity to punch it in. But I think the 0.5 is a really good one. So does Prize Picks, which is why they nerfed it to a goblin. Cutler asks Purdy rushing yards. First half. Purdy first half rushing yards. Three and a half. Is this a possible pairing? All right, let's pull up Purdy passing yards. It's easier to scroll through that, and then we'll look at his rushing yards down here. So Purdy is projected for 16 rushing yards. I mean, okay, so hold on. Okay, so first half rushing yards for Brock Purdy, he had -1 against Detroit, but he turned into Usain Bolt in the second half and was just running all over the damn place. So I don't know. First half is a little risky. I think the under's in play for first half. So that -1 doesn't go over, it goes over. So one out of his last 4 games, you can look at it like that. But if you want to take a look at the total game, both playoff games, he's gone over this line. I feel like 16 is a little high, but I mean, there's a huge difference between 13 and 16. Seriously, quarterbacks are not trying to run unless they get the open lane or unless it's an absolute must, like 4th and 5, and they have to get there. But I've noticed quarterbacks take a little bit off the rush attempts this season. Even Lamar Jackson, when he runs, he's dangerous, but I just didn't think he ran as much this season. So his projections look good at 16 yards. If you're looking at the over for full game rushing yards, I mean, the only way he gets negative yards is if literally he gets tackled for a loss on a rush, like a design run, right? Not like in college football where you get sacked and those sack yards count as negative rushing yards. Like Shedeur Sanders would average like -90 yards a game because he would just get sacked so many times. So, in the NFL, if you're getting negative rushing yards, it's because you attempted a rush and you got hit for a loss. He's not doing that very often, so I don't think that's a bad play at all. I wouldn't touch his first half though. But now that I've said that, he's going to come out and rush for like 30 yards in the first quarter. That's how it always works. So I think his full game rushing yards. I think his full game rushing yards look fine. I mean, what do y'all think? Y'all think he comes out and this is like a shootout type of game, or is it like a slow it down, run the clock out, win by 3 type of? I mean, it's the Super Bowl. You don't get any You don't get any bonus points for winning by 5 or 20. You know, it's the fucking Super Bowl. You just want to win. And I'll say this. I know nobody wants their players to get hurt, but like in the event you do get injured during the Super Bowl, you have 8 months to like recover, right? Even more than that, because you can skip OTAs, you can skip preseason. You probably have like closer to 10 months to fully recover. So like I feel like this is an all-out kind of game. Like you're not really holding anything back. So maybe we do see Purdy, you know, spin the wheels a little bit more in this game. Oh yeah, Jim did a solid. He posted 3 Super Bowl slips in the Discord. He put those in a long time ago. But if you have any interest checking those out, hit up the Discord. Free player prop Discord. 3 slips in the NFL channel. Jim has posted those for everybody to check out. Oh, you think so, Cutler? Is your name a combination of Jay Cutler and Tony Stark? Or is that your real name? That's a pretty cool name. I smell a 2016 Matt Ryan performance. Oh man, has it been that long? Shit. What did Kyle ask? I see the or Rice. Oh, okay. Okay, so we're looking at Pacheco's anytime touchdown. And then I didn't see the second part to that. So like Pacheco's touchdown is nerfed to a goblin, but what about Rashee Rice? Okay. So Rashee Rice is this one, you know what? If it's gonna be like adjusted to be anything, I would love to see these be adjusted to demons, because for a player like Rashee Rice, who is like I know Travis Kelce is the top option on the team, but Rashee Rice is the is wide out number 1. He's receiver number 1 in this offense, and that's what he'll be going into next season. And as Travis Kelce starts to like transition out of the league, like maybe he has 2 seasons left, Rashee Rice, I think, will be their number 1 target. Because you're not replacing Travis Kelce. You can't even go draft the tight end and be like, go be Travis Kelce. Like Sam Laporta, as good as he is as a rookie, he's not Travis Kelce. But for him to have a demon at 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdown, I would think that would be a goblin instead of a demon. So, I mean, looking at that one, you obviously can't play it with Mahomes for just like the 2 pick. But where's Rashee Rice? All right, anytime touchdown. So he's projected for 0.52 touchdowns, which is right there at the line, right? You're not going to get any wiggle room on this one. This would be a little different if it was like a a Valdez-Scantling touchdown prop where it's kind of hit or miss. I feel like this one is, and I hate to use the word safe, but I just feel like if you're targeting touchdowns on the Chiefs offense, who are you targeting? It's Kelce, it's Pacheco, it's Rashee Rice. And to Cutler's point, in terms of the lights being too bright, it's the opposite for Patrick Mahomes, right? Like he is at a point in his young career where he can go out and play blindfolded and win games. So this Rashee Rice is not, catching passes from a rookie quarterback or inexperienced quarterback or something. He's catching passes from a GOAT. So again, I feel like that anytime touchdown for Rashee Rice is pretty strong, and you're getting a payout boost on that. So like, let's take Mahomes out of here for now because we can't play him and Rashee Rice together. But like, look, if you were going to play Rashee Rice's receiving rushing touchdown with Brock Purdy, it gets boosted to a 3.5x payout. And those are his rushing yards. I'm just going to throw this one in there to see if it changes anything. No, it's still 3.5. I wonder if it would be more if it were a skill position. Let's say Brandon Ayuk receiving yards. So it looks like it'll be 3.5 no matter who you put in there with him. But I think that's a pretty fun touchdown prop to play. John Starks. John Starks, man. There's a name. Let's see. Kyle Burke says, might be a little too KC heavy, but I have a anytime touchdown prop for Pacheco. Mahomes over 225 passing yards. Pacheco rushing yards. Kelce receiving. And CMC 25 yards reception for. Nice. Where are you playing that? What book is that? Super, what's up? Welcome in. Jim says Rice over receptions at 6.5. La Liga, what's going on? Welcome in. Brock over 248. Mahomes over 36 up to 37 passing attempts. Rashee Rice at 6.5 receptions. Purdy at 248 receiving yards. if he had 200 receiving yards, I'm sure that's an NFL record, right? Quarterback with over 200 receiving yards in the Super Bowl. DK. Okay, cool. Good luck on that, Kyle. That shit looks fun though. That's like a fun stack. And Mahomes over his passing attempts. NFL's taking a little longer. Let's see. Passing. I thought I selected passing attempts. All right, so I like that receiving. I like that Rashee Rice receptions. Let's see. He's at 7.5 on most, or 7.5 on how many books? Just one. BetMGM has him at 7.5, but at 6.5, he's getting -130 odds on Caesar, -120 on DraftKings. FanDuel has it kind of towards the under, but Caesars has it at -130. That's in play. I think that's in play. Passing attempts are always a little volatile because it's so game script dependent. So like it's really like, let's say the Chiefs are up. I don't know. Let's say the Chiefs defense turns Purdy over twice and scores like a defensive touchdown, and the Chiefs have this 24-3 lead in the fourth quarter. Like Mahomes is definitely not passing the ball. Like he may even just hand it off to Pacheco or some Edwards-Helaire 10 times in a row. It's just little shit like that can throw a game off. So passing attempts is always like, if I'm looking at quarterback props, I'm always looking at, the yards, the actual stats, the attempts, because Mahomes can throw for 300 yards on like 20 or less passes, But yeah, you could go as passing attempt at 36.5. You are getting at a lower line. And then Purdy's passing yards at 248. So you're getting at a lower line on Prize Picks, while BetMGM has this up at 252. But PointsBet, FanDuel, and DraftKings and Caesars all have this lower. If you have access to sports books, you can play Brock Purdy's passing yards there at a lower line. So that's why it's important to be aware of how these odds are, because Prize Picks is not the lowest line. Sometimes they do have low lines, but most of the time they'll bump it up. Yeah, I encourage you, if you have access to sports books in your state, play this Purdy passing yards prop somewhere else other than Prize Picks, because you're just going to get it at a lower line. So you kind of want the 49ers to be down a little bit, where Brock Purdy has to throw the ball, play catch up. So if that's a scenario you think plays out, then I think 248 is in play. But so is 246, 245, and 247 on other books. All right, let's look at one more. Let's look at George Kittle receiving yards, and then we'll transition over to the NBA for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes or so. All right, George Kittle receiving yards. Let's take a look at this. Let's look at his receiving yards. Let's look at his anytime touchdown, and then we'll look at his first half. So that take care of Paris and Cutler's questions about this. All right. So George Kittle in the playoffs, 81 and 27 yards. Only at 27 yards against Detroit? Really? Holy shit. Now he's projected for 70.86 yards, so 71 yards. We'll round that up. 5 receptions and a touchdown. Basically, 0.63 is upwards of 1, so that's a touchdown. Receiving yards at 15.5 right now on Prize Picks, but on props.cash, that's what it's showing. 15.5. So yeah, it's an even line. It's 49.5 everywhere else. BetMGM, Caesars, DraftKings, FanDuel. So yeah, look at that. But it's in play. 50 yards is in play. Anytime touchdown for George Kittle. Projections look good. The odds, not so much. Well, touchdown odds are never going to be like receiving yard odds. You're never going to see like huge juice to the over. But plus 190 to go over this one, we've seen worse. And then his first half receiving yards, what is that? 25.5. Is that what it is? All right. Over his last 5 games, I know it's not showing on the screen, but over his last 5 games, he's averaging 35 receiving yards in the first half. Over his last 10, he's averaging 32.3. In large part due to that game against Baltimore, we had 91 receiving yards in the first half, but he got it done. Yeah, I think that's in play. Honestly, I think everything's in play. The only play that I saw that I was probably not as optimistic about was the Fred Warner tackles and assist line, just because the odds were not in our favor, and he has not really gotten 9 or more in many games this season based off what we saw. That's pretty much the only one that I was a little hesitant on. Oh, and Brock Purdy's first half rushing yards. So, yeah, that was the other one. Cutler says he likes Kittle in big games. You can go that route for sure. He does show up. But if he shows up, then who has to show up with him? Brock Purdy. So if you like his receiving yards, or if you think he has a big game, I would assume Purdy is a part of that. And so if you can find like a correlation stack between them two, it might not be a bad way to go. Gridiron says, go with the unders. Wait, there it is. Go with the unders on Sunday. You could. Unders are part of the process. 50% of your options are unders, no doubt. No doubt. All right. Let's do this. So we still have the Mahomes free square up there. If you haven't used it, you have until you have 28 more hours. 28 more hours to use this. Rashee Rice touchdown prop. So again, a lot of these are going to be very risky in terms of demons, but Rashee Rice touchdown prop. We didn't even look at Brandon Ayuk's receiving yards. I just kind of threw that in there to look at the payout. Receptions for Rashee Rice. Purdy's receiving or Purdy's passing yards, but they're in a better spot on other books. So 248 is actually the highest out there right now. So if you want it at a lower line, look to Caesars, look to DraftKings, BetMGM. Oh, I'll say, unless this game gets like super close and it's a shootout kind of thing where Mahomes is passing in the fourth quarter, I think the game script will probably pull Mahomes away from hitting 37 passing attempts. So I will take the under on his passing attempts. All right. You can middle too, yeah. So middling is an awesome strategy, but you need two different platforms. So Underdog, Prize Picks, Jock Market, Prize Picks, something like that. But what you would do is you would play the over on one platform and play the under on the other platform, or hope it hits in the middle, and then you win both. Worst case scenario is like you don't hit any of them. Next best would be one goes over, or you hit one, not the other one. You can't do that with very many props. You do need like a certain amount of gap. So like anytime you see a line discrepancy in like let's say this play on Jock Market for Isaiah Pacheco is at 64 rushing yards, you would play the over on that one, and then you would come over to Prize Picks, and then you would take the under on his rushing yards at basically he needs 69. So you have basically a 5-yard difference between Prize Picks and Jock Market. So if Pacheco finishes with 68, 67, 66, 65, you hit both. And so you can middle that. That's a pretty awesome strategy if you get the right plays. But in terms of Jock Market, I didn't forget. What? I just saw a post that Purdy looks like a kid wearing a 49ers uniform pitch Party City. He's only like 19 years old, though. He's so young. Gilbert. So Gilbert was asking about Jock Market. So let me show you this, Gilbert. Unless you have a specific play on Jock Market that you want to talk about. Let's take a look at the Odds Shopper Odd Shopper pick'em table for Jock Market today, or for the Super Bowl? Is it gonna have any plays on? It's not. Well, this is a bad look. One more place we can try. But again, the Pacheco promo is only up for another 30 minutes. So if you are playing on Jock Market, I would definitely look to taking that over. All right, this is a terrible idea. Never mind. What I wanted to show you was any plays that were popping on Jock Market for the Super Bowl, but Jock Market is still a small platform, and sometimes they don't have enough player props to create the EV for. So hit me up in the Discord, Gilbert. If you play Jock Market, hit me up in the Discord. I think I'm like one of the only people in the Discord that plays Jock Market. So if you want to talk Jock Market player props, we can definitely do that in the Discord. That'd be fun. All right, let's spend a few moments on NBA. Again, was not counting on doing NBA, but I don't have any slides or anything pulled up. But NBA, we're never at a loss for information or questions. So fire them up. What player props are y'all like? Who y'all looking at in the NBA today? Go with underdog or parlay play. Absolutely, Shy. My pleasure. Appreciate you stopping in, popping in. All right, Divine. I hope you're not still doing laundry. Hope you're back. We're going to spend a few minutes on the NBA today. Who do y'all like? I guess I should say who I like. Let's see. So a few props that I was looking at, it's possible they've been bumped up. Josh Green rebounds. Harden's rebounds. Try not to throw up in your mouth a little bit with this next one, but well, I'm not going to touch it now. So 7.5 rebounds and assists for Jalen Green got bumped up to 8. He really played terrible ball yesterday against the Raptors. So again, we talk about going back to the player who messed it up for you. It doesn't always work, but oftentimes that very next game they do what you wanted them to do the previous game. So you're always off by one game. But no, I'm not going to touch this one now that it's been bumped up to 8. Another one that was really popping, but unfortunately it was popping too hard and Prize Picks stopped it from popping, was this rebound prop for Duren at 11.5. I think it's still in play at 12, but again, we talk about how crucial that 0.5 bump is. So in the event he gives you exactly 12 rebounds today, you don't go, you just get the push. Whereas if you played the original line, you would have got the over. So just know that there's a bit more risk, less upside with the bumps. Sometimes players come out and crush no matter what. How many times they bump their lines, they come out and crush. So, but oftentimes that 0.5 is a big difference. And oh, look at that shit. Oh, did we just talk that into existence, ladies and gentlemen? Did we just talk the bump down on Jalen Duren's rebounds? Did y'all just see that shit? Oh man. Dope, right? Okay, so if you want to take the over on this one, so this is what was happening at 11.5. Everybody was taking the over on it. Prize Pick says no. bump it up to 12. Now everybody's taking the under on it or not touching it. It's not getting enough movement. So Prize Picks is bringing it back down to 11.5. This is going to keep going back and forth. So if you like it at 11.5, pull the trigger on this because it's not going to get any lower. That's dope. Let's try again for another player. Man, I really wish Jalen Green's rebounds and assists got bumped back down to 7.5. Oh, man, that would be so cool if Jalen Green's rebounds and assists got bumped down to 7.5. Damn, it didn't work. It might work. By the end of the stream, it might be back down to 7.5. The way I was saying that, it reminded me of that scene from Tropic Thunder where Brandon T. Jackson was drinking his booty juice in the whatever the jungle when he was like, "I'm so glad I got this can of booty juice back in the Nam." He's just like drinking his own product in the movie. All right, so Josh Green rebounds, Harden's rebounds, Duren's rebounds. We're going rebound heavy today. So these are a few that I liked that we're getting really good odds for the over. So let's see what y'all got. Duren rebounds. Yep. Right there with you, Divine. Paul George, 2.5 assists. Assist. Did I just scroll by it? Do I have to type in his name? Oh, his assists are not on the board right now at 2.5. That's super low, Kyle. If you got it at 2.5, that's dope. Josh Green, PA, Divine, got his rebounds up there. Yeah, we'll take a look at his PA at the same time. Kuminga over 2.5 assists. All right. Gridiron said, Jabari Smith killed my 6-mans for 2K. What did you play for him? He went over points, didn't he? Boy, that rotation in Houston got really fucked up last night, right? It looked like Ime just went with the hot hands down the stretch. Like Sengun and Jalen Green played 20 minutes, 22 minutes, something like that. You had Dylan Brooks go off 30 minutes. Jeff Green, 27 minutes, 33 minutes for Smith. He had 12 and 10 yesterday, 2 assists. Aaron Holiday, 31 minutes. Amen Thompson, 32 minutes. Sengun played 21 minutes and Jalen Green played 22 minutes. And Ime is not afraid to like sit you down if you're, for whatever reason, you're not, I don't know, maybe he missed an assignment or something. Jalen Green, 3 for 11. That's probably, he didn't miss an assignment. He missed the hoop. Couldn't find the damn hoop. All right, let's see. Jabari Smith, yeah. Luka over 19.5 RA is too low, says Cutler. What else? I love that movie, man. I love that movie. The P list king, PG. Oh, is he on our P list? We got a P list in the Discord. Paulo, Pascal, Poole, and PG. Those are been some really, really sick sales, man, over the last, not sickle cell, sick sales. Let me rephrase that. Those have been the major sales over the last, over the whole season. Those guys combined for more like busted slips, than anybody in the NBA for us. So like we're growing this list of this P list. PG has made his way onto that list numerous times. Oh, damn, Kyle. I'm playing Siakam points because a lot of the Knicks players are out today, including Robinson, Randall, and Hartenstein. Got to say it like Doris Burke says it. Hartenstein. But Kyle likes the points and rebounds for Siakam. All right. I love that movie, Jim. I can't. That's like top 5 for me. I just go back and rewatch it. There's just so many the whole movie's quotable. The whole movie is quotable. All right. Let's talk NBA. So let's start with your place first. Luka, Kuminga, Duren was popping, Josh Green. So Oklahoma, Dallas are on the list as the top game in terms of just order. So let's look at Josh Green and Luka here. Remember, Gafford is now a member of this Dallas Mavericks team, as is PJ Washington. So if you feel like their presence pulls rebounds away from Luka, and we're looking at that 19.5 RA, maybe that is something to look into, because now their front court is pretty legit in terms of size and just athleticism and what they can cover. I wonder what the triple-double outlook for Luka is moving forward, because you have a lot of bodies on that team that can eat on the glass. That might be something to pay attention to. But let's take a look at let's start with Josh Green. We'll look at his rebounds. We'll look at rebounds and assists. So yeah, PJ Washington and Gafford are in today. So it takes a little longer, the process, the new players when they switch teams, but they're in. So I don't know how many minutes they're playing today, but they're in. All right, Josh Green's rebounds are getting pretty decent odds to the over, -128, +104. Gone over this line in 3 out of his last 5 games. 3 out of his last 4. 60% hit rate, 50 on the 10-game log there. Want to take a look at his projections down here. He is projected for roughly 4 rebounds today. Oklahoma City is currently bottom of the league, not the worst team, but one of the bottom teams in terms of rebounds allowed. So allowing a lot of production this season. Looking at his RA, that was also requested. So looking at his RA today is currently at 6.5. I don't know if it got bumped up or what it looks like on Prize Picks, but at 6.5, that does seem like a playable number. I'm just looking at it over on Prize Picks. It is that line is not available to us on Prize Picks, so we cannot play his rebounds and assists. Let's look at the PA-PR combo. So points and rebounds right now for Josh Green are set to 14, and his points and assists are set to 12. So PA 12 instead of 12.5. So getting this at a lower line. He's gone over this in 5 straight games. He is projected for 12.36 points and assists. So that is like a push. PR 14 on Prize Picks. This one has been bumped up. Those odds, you can kind of tell when the play is going to get bumped up when it's approaching that -130. At some point, that will be moved. So it has been bumped up to 14. He has still gone over 14 in 3 straight games prior to pushing. And then he goes over it against the New York Knicks. So For the most part, he's been over this line or at this line pretty consistently over his last 10 games. Better projections on his points and rebounds. But again, I caution Gafford and Washington in the lineup today. Don't know what that looks like for rebound and points for Josh Green. So I might even have to reconsider his rebounds, but 3.5 is very low. I feel like even in limited run, reduced run, Josh Green can hit that rebound mark. Let's take a look at Luka. Rebounds and assists. This one's at 19.5. We'll take a look at it. The books do not like this over, and I'm pretty sure it's because you have new players in the rotation that can pull away from this line for Luka. If you remember at the beginning of the year, Luka's rebounds were really down. Like this stretch here, they were really down, and the Mavericks were healthy. You had guys like Derek Lively starting to like eat a little bit, pulling away rebound production for Luka. Then it kind of changed. It kind of stepped up. People were in and out the lineup, so Luka like kind of looked like himself last season. And I'm just curious that if with the addition of Gafford and Washington, if we see a repeat of what we saw at the beginning of the year where Luka was really not going over his RA. But if you want to take the over on this one, you could take a look at his rebounds and assists. Projection is at 18. Head-to-head games with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Last game was on December 2nd. He put up 33 rebounds and assists. That's a hell of a lot of production and just rebounds and assists. All right. Who else was there? Jalen Duren. Let's take a look at his rebounds. Bumped up, bumped down, bumped up, bumped down. Right now, it's at 11.5 over on Prize Picks. So look at this. This one opened at 10.5. If you got this at 10.5, I'm not saying he goes over this. You know, we don't know that. We don't know what happens with player props when the game starts. It's not in our control. But this is by far the lowest line you'll see for the rest of the weekend, probably the rest of the year. 10.5, probably won't see it lower than that. But if you got it at 10.5, that's a great spot. But now we're playing it at 11.5. It doesn't really seem to change too much with his game logs because he's gone over just as many games with it bumped up to 11.5. He is projected for 12.7 rebounds today, so that's roughly 13 rebounds. So his odds look good, his projections look good, and the game logs support head-to-head. They just played, right? They just played like a week ago, and he put up 13 boards. So if you get a repeat performance from him, this is a smash. Doesn't matter if you play it at 11.5 or even 12, but 11.5 right now is your best line for Jalen Duren. Who else was there? Oh, Kuminga on his assists. Now they're back at home after that little Midwest road trip. Taking a look at Kuminga's assist. I selected his assists, not rebounds, right there. Okay. 5 straight games of over, minus 135 to the over. This one will get bumped up to 3 if not taken off the board. Head-to-head games with the Phoenix Suns. He had 0 assists in this game, 2 assists. So 3 games this season, he has not gone over against the Suns. Fast forward to the month of February, he is cooking. He is cooking in February. So it's hard to ignore those odds. It's hard to ignore the game logs, and it's hard to ignore the projections are all on the same page. This one feels like a good prop. Look at this juice down here. On DraftKings, minus 135. On Caesars, minus 139. BetMGM has it at minus 135. PointsBet has it at minus 145. I guarantee you this will be bumped up to 3. So I like the over on Josh Green's rebounds. Unfortunately, we can't play the over on his rebounds and assists. We didn't take a look at Harden, but that was just another one that I liked. We all like Duren over 11.5. Kuminga assist. I'm a little torn on this Luka. I can definitely see the logic in going under on this one, just based on the new players that are going to be in the lineup today for the Mavs. Not in the lineup, but in rotation. Nick could pull away from Luka today, but we also know his upside. And so 19.5 does feel like it's in play. So you'll have to make a decision based off the new look of the Dallas Mavericks today. I guess I'll screenshot these. We can throw them in the Discord. All right. Let's do a few more player props. Yeah, let's do a few more player props. Over under for the game went down by 2 points after that for some reason. Looks like Gafford and PJ sliding into the starting lineup. For real? Oh, shit. Divine, you took Josh Green's fantasy? Ooh. Let's look at that. Let's look at that real quick. Hold on. Luka being around the paint, guarding Shea, and his middies are giddy and drives to the rim. Gafford up against Chet. I expect plays with him pulled out of the paint. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Let's see. Durant over points, rebounds at 31.5. Dorian Finney-Smith, points, rebounds over 14.5. Look at it when Cam Johnson is not in the lineup. All right, we're going to take these dudes. We're taking these dudes away. All right, let's look at Dorian Finney-Smith. What were you looking at? His points and rebounds are 14.5. We'll just put him in there as more right now. Durant. $31.5. Now been bumped up to 32. They beat you to it. Kyle, they beat you to it. Yeah, I would say that it's possible because of the new look in the front court. Jordan Poole over his first half PRA yesterday was at 10 and he cleared. Dude, Jordan Poole, man, he had a good game yesterday. So we talked about this, right? We talked about the Celtics. And their inability to just keep their foot on the gas or on the throat or whatever you want to use. We talked about that. We talked about how it would not be surprising to see Avia go over his PR, Kuzma go over points, which I don't think he did. We didn't talk much about Jordan Poole, but we did talk about the Celtics letting teams stay in the game, teams they should be stomping out, and that's exactly what happened. So if you played overs on the Wizards yesterday, your slips probably look pretty good. What up, 7-Eleven? Drop a like. Sub up to the channel. Listen to me more Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. All right. So who else? Devon, you want to take a look at Wembanyama's threes? And who else? Mobley. Mobley over 7.5 rebounds, says Kyle. Got bumped up to 8. You still want to take a look at it at 8? We can. All right, Divine. Let's take a look at Shai's points. All right, we got 6 in. I'm really now this Josh Green fantasy score of 19. It's not even so much Josh Green. It's just that number of 19 is so low. Like we didn't talk about this on the stream yesterday, but in the Discord, was it Alien put us on to Gary Trent's fantasy score at 19? For a starter, it's so low. 19 points is so low. And Gary Trent had like 5 steals in the first half. He damn near hit his fantasy score in the first quarter. So in order to figure out 19 fantasy points for Josh Green, we'll have to just piece this together. So look, you're getting nice numbers to the over on his points. So let's say he gets you 10 points. I like his rebounds, but let's say he gets you through 3 rebounds today. We'll go conservative with this. That's 13.6. And then let's say he goes for 2 assists. That's 3 points. That's 16.6. And let's say he gets you 2 steals and blocks. That's 19. That's 22. You got to factor in turnovers. Let's say he turns the ball over 2 times. This looks like he's turning the ball over 3 times. So if you minus 3 points, that's 19.2 fantasy points right there with 3 turnovers. So again, we went super conservative. An extra rebound would definitely clear it. There are a lot of different ways he can go over this fantasy score. As long as his minutes don't get reduced, as long as his usage stays somewhat normal, like as long as he's getting you like between high 20s, low 30 minutes, that fantasy score is definitely in play. I think that's a pretty good call on his fantasy. Who else? All right, so let's go Dorian Finney-Smith and Victor Wembanyama. Those are in. Oh, actually, real quick, let's look at Shai's points because it's the same game. $31.5. It's not 32.5. It's 31.5. That's what we're getting over on Prize Picks. So let's bring this down to 31.5. Like a 50-50 split, 5-5. 2 games out of his last 5. So not the best odds over his last 5 games. Dallas's defense is not great. Bottom of the league in these 3 categories here. Points, not necessarily, not bottom of the league, but close to it. He's only projected for 29 points, but look at these lines. PointsBet, BetMGM, FanDuel has us all at 32.5, where Prize Picks, DraftKings, and Caesars all have this at 31.5. I do like the fact that I think Dallas can keep this competitive. So the closer a game is for this team, the more upside Shai has, because he'll be needed on the court. This feels like an overtime game also. So if you feel like this game goes extra minutes, it's really difficult to ignore his points. All right, let's take a look at Victor Wembanyama's threes, and then we'll look at Dorian Finney-Smith with Cam Johnson off the floor. Is it Cam Johnson or Cam Thomas? Cam Johnson. So Cam Johnson's out. All right, Victor Wembanyama threes. Over his last 5 games, he has hit this in 4 out of 5 games. He's averaging 2. He's averaging 2 over his last 10. Odds are not in favor of the over on this one, unfortunately, but that's not necessarily a deal breaker. He is projected for 2 3-pointers today, so 1.86 rounded up to 2. In terms of 3-point production allowed, you can see that Brooklyn is bottom of the league in 3-point percentage, and then they are close to the bottom in terms of like bottom-ish. Not dead last, but like at bottom percentile, allowing 13.4 made 3-pointers per game. I don't think it's that big of a stretch to say that, you know, if the Spurs make 13 to 14 threes, that Victor Wembanyama has 2 of them. I don't think that's like a hot take. All right, let's look at Dorian Finney-Smith. Points and rebounds sitting at 14.5. We'll go ahead and filter out. So this is what it looks like with no adjustments made to the lineup. So this is like 1 out of his last 9, 1 out of his last 5. Not looking great. Matchup with San Antonio does offer upside. But let's take Cam Johnson out and let's see what it looks like. So without Cam Johnson in the lineup, this is a completely different storyline for him, right? This shit goes from horror film to like happily ever after. He's gone over this in 8 out of his last 10 games played without Cam Johnson. This does go back to last season, but it's okay to look at this in this situation because both of these guys were on this team last season, you know? So it's not like a guy comes over from another team and the two don't correlate. So last season, this Nets team was pretty much the same players. And so I feel like that information is relevant. If you just want to look at this year, then ignore these last 2 games and just focus on these 8 where he's gone over in 7 out of 8 games without Cam Johnson on the floor. I think that's a pretty sharp find for Dorian Finney-Smith. What about Evan Mobley's rebound? Sitting at 8, so this got bumped up. If you got it at 7.5, I cannot see this being lower than at 7.5. So scrolling down here, we can see that BetMGM did have this at 7.5. So it did open at 7.5, but every other book has this at 8.5. This is going to get bumped up to 8.5 at some point today. So if you like this at 8, this is your time to take it. Versus the Toronto Raptors, in one game this year, he had 14 rebounds. Over last year, and this year he's gone over in 3 out of those 5 games. Toronto's getting healthier, but they are coming off a game against the Rockets last night. The Rockets made it a lot closer in the fourth quarter, so it did kind of look like Toronto would be able to sit some players in the fourth, but the Rockets made it close. So you have the starters pulling in pretty heavy minutes. Now this second leg of a back-to-back, does that impact their I don't know if that impacts them or not. He is projected for 9 rebounds today. So at 8 rebounds, he's only gone under this one time at this current line. At 7.5, that's much better, right? Over his last 10 games with the reduced line, 7.5, pretty strong. 80% hit rate. We bring it up to 8, and still doesn't look too bad. But just keep in mind, now that it's been bumped up to 8, he needs 9 rebounds. So eight gets you to push, but he absolutely needs 9 rebounds to get the over. So the question you have to ask yourself is, does he get you 9, not 8? Durant. Let's take a look at Kevin Durant. So this one also got bumped up to 32 points and rebounds, but at 31.5 is what we should see it here. No. So this is at 32.5 on FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, PointsBet. Again, same situation we just saw with Evan Mobley. I wouldn't be surprised if this one moves again, just to match what the other books are doing. But at 32.5, this is what he's done. When we bring this down to 31.5, it's not going to change anything with his game logs. Because the games where he went under 30. So bringing it down to 31.5 doesn't change anything. It just makes it easier for him to go over it to lower line. At 32, nothing changes with his game logs. Head-to-head games versus the Warriors. He was 0 for 2 last season. Excuse me. He was 0 for 1 in 2022, 2023. But in this season, he's 1 for 2. Man, I can't get my numbers right. Yeah, so against them on the 24th of October, put up 29, and then he went off for 40 points and rebounds against them a couple months ago. His projections look very strong at 33, so even with the bump up to 32, it feels like this is still in play based off projections. Anybody sitting for the Suns? Beal's day to day. I don't know if Beal sits, does that like make it a better play? I don't really feel like Beal cuts into Durant's production too much. I mean, he obviously will get more uses without Beal in the lineup, but even with Beal in the lineup, I mean, I think Durant still eats. So if Beal happens to sit, I think this is an excellent play. If he is in, then it's still in play. Just, it's like a love-like thing. You like it if Beal's in, if Beal's out, you probably love it. All right. 6 up, 6 down. We like the over Josh Green fantasy score. We like the over Dorian Finney-Smith. Points and rebounds without Cam Johnson. Like this at 32. Love it without Beal in the lineup. Like Victor Wembanyama. I like his rebounds at 8, but he needs 9. So in the event this gets bumped back down to 7.5, it's excellent. And then Shai's points, it's always a little scary taking high point props, but if this game stays close, possible overtime, I can't see a scenario that he does not go over points if this game stays close. So there is 6 up, 6 down, 30s over in player prop, Discord, and I think it's going to do it for today. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, it's at 8.5 on DK. Damn. So yeah, it makes the Prize Picks line look a lot better, right? You're getting it at a lower line, much low. I mean, not much lower, but low enough. Yeah. Says, yeah, take Beal out and look at Durant then. Yeah. Without Beal, those game logs look really, really good. Beal's not on the doubtful list. He's not ruled out. He is. I don't even see him on the questionable list. So I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to count him out right now. It could change. Marvin Bagley just got ruled in for the Wizards, so we know what that's like. We kind of saw that coming, right? They got Bagley in. You knew that Gafford and him couldn't exist in that lineup together. So moving Gafford, I understand it. But Bagley should just basically slide into that Gafford role. Steals and blocks, rebounds, PR, like all those things are in play for Bagley. Let's do a quick play of the day. If y'all cool with that. Let's do a quick play of the day. Let's see if we can get at least 5 plays of the day. And I'll throw them in the Discord. So Ashley likes. Is that Josh Green, Ashley? Or excuse me, Gary Trent. Gary Trent. What's his fantasy points? Kyle, you like Vince Williams as your play of the day over his points and rebounds? What number is it at? Harden's rebounds got bumped up to 5.5. Man, the days of them being at 4, he would have to have an absolute collapse for like 2 games straight for his rebounds to go back under 5. I think we'll see it at 5 and up moving forward. While we were getting it at 4.5, it was pretty nice. All right, Shy, you like Terrence Mann over on points? Big Icy likes Kobe White over rebounds. There's a name. $18.5 for Vince Williams. That's his PR. All right, cool. Cutler going to another pool party. All right. Over 8.5 first half points. Okay, got you, Kyle. You just wanted to throw Vince Williams. Okay. Yeah, we can throw. We can also throw some NFL plays of the day because you have to wait for your payout. You got to wait for the Super Bowl to be complete, but you can throw those in a slip. All we're trying to do is find the best plays. They don't always have to be for that same day. All right. Alien says he's going with the green guys, the green boys. Draymond over his 2.5 turnovers and Josh Green over his 1.5 3-pointers made. All right. Real quick, let's the fuck, man. That's so delayed. Let's look at Vince Williams' PR. Wait a minute. Those numbers aren't matching. Oh, points and assists. So points and assists is at 18.5. Points and rebounds is at 21.5. So look, points and assists for Vince Williams, 18.5. These are getting like flat odds, minus 113 to both sides. 5 straight games of going over this line. No projections. I'm sure they'll pop up at some point today, but we do have a pretty good game log here to look at. One game versus the Charlotte Hornets. Not really. There's no games. This is like nothing. I mean, the two things that Vince Williams has going for him, now, is injuries to the Grizzlies where all the starters are out, right? So that opens up a huge role for him. And he's doing a lot with it, right? So it's not like he's just getting empty minutes. He's doing a lot with it. His minutes are up. His shot volume is steady. And I mean, he's making shots. Like 67. This one game against the Knicks, he dipped below 50. He dipped below 50%. I mean, he's a 50 plus from the field kind of guy. So I always think his lines are in play. it doesn't even matter the matchup because who the hell else is there in Memphis, right? So just even by default, he's getting tons of usage. Until his numbers start getting into like Devin Booker territory or something like that, I think the over on Vince Williams is always going to be something to look at. Let's see. I agree, Divine. Yeah, Beal sits. Durant, that line for Durant looks a little low. Tamika, what's going on? Good morning. Kobe White. Yeah, we got Kobe White's rebounds in there as a play of the day. We like that one for sure. Got you. All right. Here's what we got for plays of the day so far. I'm not going to include Gary Trent in players of the day, but we did just look at that for a quick minute for Kyle. All right, Gary Trent over his fantasy points. Are they, I think, playable up to 19 and a half? What are they, though? They were at 19 yesterday. Are they not on the board yet? Yeah, fantasy scores are up. Oh, but his fantasy score isn't up. So, okay, if his fantasy score gets dropped and it's between 19 and 20, I think it's in play. 19 and a half is kind of what we're hoping. So I'll put a little asterisk by that one. I like the over on Terrence Mann's points. Kobe White over 4.5 boards. Poole over 8.5 first half points. We got Patrick Mahomes over 4.5 rushing attempts. Draymond Green over 2.5 turnovers. And Josh Green over 1.5 3-pointers made. That's what we got. Plays of the day. What are Kyrie's points? 25.5 against OKC. Quick look at Kyrie's points, 25.5, minus 106 on the over, slight juice to the under. 1 out of his last 5 games, but he had that going on prior. Head-to-head games with OKC, I mean, really not a whole lot to look at here. 1 game last season. Projected for just 21 points. If you can find this on DraftKings, Caesars a bet MGM, 24.5 points. Much lower line. So if you're able to access any of those books, I would consider playing his points there. Prize Picks already has this juiced up to where he now needs 26 points to get over on that one. Links, what's going on? Good morning. Y'all like Kobe White's rebounds over assists? Definitely like his rebounds. Didn't look at his assists though. Damn. Assists are at 5, so that's been bumped up. So rebound, his odds have changed a lot. So earlier this morning, his odds were closer to 130 on his rebounds. The lines are kind of moving a little bit more juice on the under here. 4 straight games of 5 or more. Head-to-head games with the Orlando Magic have not been good to him this year. Just 1 rebound in each of those games this season. He is projected for 5 rebounds. 6 assists is also his projection, but bring this down to 5. His assists at 5 aren't bad. The projections are there, but I like the rebound slightly better just because you're getting it at a 0.5 line. So there is no push there, and it's at the original line. It hasn't been bumped up yet. His RA 10.5. That's what we're seeing here. I don't know what it is on Prize Picks. It's at 10. So flat 10 on Prize Picks. I like his rebounds, and I don't mind his rebounds and assists at 10, at a flat 10. All his odds, all his projections look very strong. So based off these and the game logs, I don't really feel like there is a bad play, but I like the fact that this is slightly lower. I like the fact that his rebounds haven't been moved up yet. However, again, if you play on sportsbooks, you can find this at 9.5 on DraftKings, Caesars, BetMGM, and PointsBet. All those are available at a lower line. Just realized I'm not even sharing my damn screen. My bad. Kobe White, rebounds and assists at flat 10. All his projections down here look strong. Rebounds and assist, rebounds. And then here are your odds. So again, DraftKings, Caesars, BetMGM, and PointsBet all have this at a lower line. So if you can play books, you're going to find it at a better line. Same thing with his assist. Sitting at 5 right now on Prize Picks. Here are his projections at 6. And it looks like Prize Picks actually has this at the lower line at 5. So it looks like this will be bumped up at some point. If you like the 5 line, play it. It's not going to get lower. I like his RA though. I like his rebounds and his RA. All right. Yeah, who do y'all have winning? I'm just gonna go with the Chiefs, just because I feel like they have the better quarterback and the better coach. I secretly wanted the Lions to make it to the Super Bowl because I just wanted to see a different team. I wanted to see like a true underdog team in the Super Bowl. We didn't get it, so after that, I was like, Mahomes is just he's just a fucking freak, man. That guy just wins. But yeah, I think they win. All right. I think it's gonna do it. This turned into a normal live stream. pretty much turned into a normal live stream. We did get about 45 minutes of NFL player prop talks for the Super Bowl. Listen, speaking of Super Bowl, speaking of other books, if you guys have access to books, if you have access to BetMGM, you just saw me talk about like these other books and where you can find better odds. Prize Picks doesn't always have the best lines. Very rarely do they give you the best lines. So if you have access to BetMGM in your states, bet $5, get $158 in bonus bets. All you got to do is sign up, use my referral link right there at the bottom, play $5 and get $158 in bonus bets. So just in time for the Super Bowl, just in time to take advantage of those different lines. Consider it. This will not be available after Sunday. So this is good up until Super Bowl. And that's about all the promo I got. So no live stream tomorrow. Honestly, I typically don't do live streams on the weekends until I can get an assistant, or it just makes this a lot easier to do stream 7 days a week. until I can get that. Then yeah, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. We talk NBA player props, and that's what we do. So glad I was able to get an NFL prop stream in here, and then it did transition into NBA. But we got a lot done. I'll provide the plays of the day and our screenshots of the props that we broke down in the Discord. So if you have any interest in joining the Discord, all that information is in the stream below. Join up, 100% free. Gilbert, if you're still here, hit me up in the Discord. Let's talk jock market. But best of luck to you all. Best of luck to you all today, tomorrow, and Monday morning. I'll be seeing you at 9 a.m. Until then, Chavez is out.